All right, listen to how smooth I do this. It's extra drama for book number 49, Playing for Keeps. Hi, it's Marissa again, the host of this podcast, and I'm with the hosts of another podcast called Gossip Guys, Andy and Aaron.
Hey!
It's Andy, and that's...
It's Aaron, and we're talking Playing for Keeps.
And that's all Aaron does.
Do you guys want to say, like, your full names? I've just been calling you Andy and Aaron.
I keep it anonymous. We don't want people to find me.
That's fine. Okay, I'll cut that part out.
You can keep it in.
He's kidding. It was a hilarious...
Yeah.
It was an Egbert joke for sure.
It's a B-roll joke if you need it.
Somebody was asking me recently if Winston Egbert was like a nerd or like a class clown, like was he studious? And I realized that Winston Egbert is just like a Screech. Like they're such perfect analogs, except that more popular, but like Screech has to be a little popular because his friends are the most popular kids in school. Do you guys follow me? I'm talking about Saved by the Bell here.
No, I hear you, but I also think that if we're gonna talk about a dish rag, that was Screech. So I mean, he just did everything Zach said, and I don't know. I think Winston is his own person.
Does he?
Yeah, he does have a girlfriend.
Does he get his book, like an own book?
I'm sure he must at some point, but it's weird now that you mention it. He hasn't had one yet. He's just one of the most constant background characters.
He's not dated any of the Wakefield sisters, either of them?
Oh, he had a huge crush on Jessica for a long time, but now he's dating Maria Santelli, so that's good for him.
That does.
Because Jessica and Winston was never going to happen.
Yeah, too bad.
Much like Screech and Lisa. Anyway, I told you guys we were going to talk about another TV show and its analogs to Sweet Valley High, but that show is not Saved by the Bell. It is, in fact, Gossip Girl.
XOXO.
I've been led to believe that you guys have some thoughts on ways in which this Sweet Valley High universe might be like Gossip Girl.
I think Winston would be Eric.
Winston would be... I don't... Eric's not that funny, though. Or is he?
In his dry humor way. I mean, it's a different funny on the Upper East Side than it is in Sweet Valley.
That's true. Eric has an acquired sense of humor. I think the formula of Sweet Valley High is the same formula as Gossip Girl. There's a reason for drama. So Playing for Keeps, it is basically Jessica pretending to be someone else to get with AJ. And it builds to a crescendo at an event. And that is exactly what happens in Gossip Girl too. It always an event each week that it ends at a party or whatever. And Playing for Keeps is a fashion show at the mall, which was perfect for this.
And what there's no way for you guys to have known, but is in fact the case, is that it is almost always a dance. It is like, it's this fashion show ending. This is not the only fashion show that we've had in Sweet Valley, but most of the time it's some kind of dance or party at somebody's house, one of the rich kids' houses or a school dance, to the point that it's like ridiculous how many dances these kids have
what
all
else
been
are they going to do? What do you want them to do? They only travel inside Sweet Valley.
Right. They don't have as much money or means as Gossip Girl.
Yeah, they can't go to Santorini.
I mean, a couple of them do. I mean, can we talk about Pamela Jansen's house?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, she was the Upper East Side, version of this. She was,
Pamela's Georgina. Pamela's on a whole other level.
Yeah, she is Georgina Sparks. I had that written down. I asked Aaron off pod, to cast Pamela Jansen. And I also thought like a Heather Locklear type, right? That's sort of the same idea.
Yeah.
How I imagine. And yeah, she sort of is Serena pre-show as well. That's how I envision her. Like before she meets Dan and wants to sort of improve herself.
The Serena that gets herself in a lot of trouble and makes everybody hate her before she leaves town.
Well, Serena does.
Yeah.
But Serena gets away with that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the before the pilot.
Right.
Yeah. And Jessica's,
absolutely. But the difference between Pamela and Serena is that Serena never gets in trouble. So Serena that ending never would have worked on Serena. Because Jessica's definitely Blair, right? Like she's scheming. She's manipulating. We don't know. AJ definitely doesn't feel like a Chuck and thank God, but like it doesn't feel like a schemer.
No, Bruce Patman, I believe, is the Chuck of this series.
No, AJ's Nate. AJ has all these feelings bottled up inside of him and can't get them out, and they only are obviously they're just using him for his looks. Because, Pamela only sees this guy that saved her, and Jessica only sees whatever he says and doesn't really listen to him, and has doesn't really, because he doesn't want to be going to nuclear war events.
Okay,
so he is this Nate. He's in his own world, and who knows why did he leave Atlanta? What happened? There's a whole different story of his parents.
That's a great question.
That's true. But like, to me, he has a little bit of Dan too, because there's the parallel of him going into the world, right? So he's leaving, instead of Brooklyn, it's Atlanta, and now he's coming to Sweet Valley High. And also we see his sort of neurotic, nervous penis Dan thing in the Pamela Jansen scene. Like, that is exactly how Dan would handle that scene. And Nate would have had sex with her in the jacuzzi.
No, that's the. I don't think if Nate actually liked the girl as AJ does, I don't think he would try not to. He may end up, but he would try not to. I think AJ. I don't think AJ didn't seem nervous that a woman was coming onto him. He seemed nervous that he didn't want to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think that actually is probably true. I think there maybe is a little bit of both. Well, because I think he was also himself, right? Because he was the one who was saying that he doesn't like girls like Pamela, and here that was being proven wrong. So I feel like he was definitely second guessing himself, and that's a damn thing.
And it's like his own integrity maybe was coming into play for himself.
Right.
It's just like, this girl is everything that I have always claimed to dislike in a woman, which is its own problem. But we talked about that in the last book, so we don't have to talk about it again. But I don't know. This doesn't have anything to do with Gossip Girl, but I had a real hard time with AJ in this book. I was really frustrated with him because what did he see in Jessica? And why he didn't appreciate any of the things that she was trying to do for him. And then the first time he sees this other girl, and he's like, knows that he thinks it's bad, but he goes over there anyway. And it's just like, he thinks maybe he wants to break. He's just very wishy-washy in a way that
he's a teenager.
Is like, well,
he doesn't know what he wants.
That's the truth.
He thinks he does. He doesn't know what he wants. It's insane to think you have a type, or that you know what you want when you're 16 years old, or ever, really. But I mean, it's a very 16-year-old thing to think that. But if he learns the lesson of like, oh, it's nice that people are different than my expectations. That's a good lesson.
He's following little AJ, and then big AJ is trying to just like it's bad. It's about between little AJ and big AJ. That's all it is. It's an age-old battle.
Oh God. It might be, but you're right, Marissa, in that he really doesn't appreciate. Like, I mean, I would not, like to be around Jessica saying yes to everything, because that does just feel so fake. But at the same time, there is something nice about something. Like, she's trying so hard, right? She's bringing up all these different things, and I guess whenever he does bring something up, Jessica just says yes to it. But there's no yes and, right? It's just. Yeah, I don't know.
I think part of my issue is that we hear him thinking these things and thinking, it's not going to work out with Jessica, but he never bothers to mention to Jessica, like, hey, we don't have to do everything I say, or like, maybe we can just hang out and like make out on your like in your living room. Like, I don't know. He doesn't give Jessica any clues that he might be interested in something different than what she's putting forward.
But I think he says,
instead,
he can't get a chance to do that.
Oh, well, a chance is what you make of it.
He's like, she's always going off and giving me things to do and telling me what to do and saying yes to everything. And he's having a tough time. He just moved here.
Well, I mean, Jessica's doing the same thing that AJ's doing. Like, she's not being herself or saying anything like that she's unsatisfied, and she's had 49 books.
Yeah.
AJ's had one.
This is true, but I already, my feelings on Jessica are already well established.
Okay. I was going to ask, is a beach disco, that was brought up, is that ever a big event? Because I want to...
Oh, yeah. The beach disco is not an event. The beach disco is a place.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's like...
The beach disco is a state of mind.
Ooh, I want to go to the beach disco.
No. It is a place that they go a lot. Yeah, the beach disco is... I'm glad that you caught on to that one, because I didn't remember if it was mentioned in this book, but that is a frequent place that they...
How do they spell beach?
Well, it's B-I...
That sounds like...
Yeah, different word.
No. Normal beach, normal disco.
Right.
But yeah, I like going back to sort of the Gossip Girl parallels. Amy and Lila and Kara definitely felt like minions, or perhaps Lila was a challenger at some point. I mentioned that in the other episode,
That's very accurate. Yeah,
she felt like she actually had some power hungry tendencies, but right now, so she was maybe the little J, the Jenny, perhaps, or. Yeah, but no one, I don't know. That seems like Jenny is a dangerous threat, and I didn't really feel like Lila was.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel that.
She can be. Lila has the capacity to be dangerous.
Okay. So, that's interesting.
And she puts her mind to it. In fact, Lila was the driving force behind Elizabeth's drama in the previous book, because she was the one that created this fake rumor that that Jeffrey French and Olivia Davidson were the couple of the future, because Lila wanted Jeffrey for herself.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, because it seemed like I wasn't unsure if Lila just does stuff to just to fuck things up and blow things up, or if she actually does it for her own gain. And it sounds like, in that scenario, she does. Because if she was just a complete wild card who doesn't really care about anything, then that also feels like a Georgina, or a what's the girl who burns all Jenny's clothes?
Agnes.
Oh, Agnes. Yeah. I mean, it's also, I imagine each book is basically the same. And that's sort of what each episode is the same.
Yeah. It's the same. It's all the same.
And they're all teen dramas, and a lot of boys, a lot of girls. So yeah, it felt so fitting to read this. And honestly, I was like, this felt like a better episode of Gossip Girl than
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'd like to see Pamela Jansen and Georgina go at it. See what happens.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Oh!
Get little Aaron out of here.
Well, you guys, that seems like as good a note as any to end on. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this book. And I feel kind of excited that, there's nothing more exciting than just sitting back and letting your guests talk in depth about this strange series that you've introduced them to. But I feel like the crossover makes it pretty appropriate fodder. So I don't know, maybe you guys will have to read some more Sweet Valley High novels.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the audiobook of Big 50.
Ooh, big, audio voices. That'd be great. Because I really liked that we got a little Game of Thrones. It's not just one character's head. We get 3 in this book.
Yep. Oh yeah. Constantly shifting POV.
But it felt like I know we talked about it, and I know you've talked about it a million times probably already about how they did make a TV show of it or a movie. But and maybe they're going to be doing it again. But it really felt like, to me, I know Riverdale sort of steps on those toes, I think. But I really feel like there's a
absolutely
Riverdale-y version of this too, because it is weird, especially if you just take these 80s characters and plop them into 2020, and you can say a lot with that.
I couldn't agree more. Well, you guys, thank you so much, Gladiators. You can tune in next week to find out what's going to happen with Jade Wu and who Jade Wu might be.
Ooh.
So thanks again, guys.
No, thank you. This is great. I really enjoyed reading it, being the first book for quarantine. Thank you.
It does make you feel really good about yourself to read a book in 2
Oh, I felt so good to finish this. It was great. It feels so quick.
Yeah, I promised 2 hours, and 2 hours, I think is deliverable.
I think
yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting us, and
thank you. This is great.
I love going into new worlds, and this is such a weird, unique, cool thing. So thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. See you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
I'll Jade woo it. All right. I'll woo it.
That's all I ask, is that you Jade woo it a little bit. All right.
Like he knows how to dance, but he has to pretend he doesn't for his dad.
Oh man.
Wow, did you read book 50 already, Aaron?